What's going on, everybody? Chris back here for another Saw update, and this one's a big one as it appears that Saw is moving into the Blumhouse. Now, we're going to talk about all that and what this could possibly mean for the Saw franchise going forward, but before we do that, let's kind of take a look back at what happened with Saw 11. So, not long after Saw X came out, Lionsgate and Twisted Pictures announced that they were going to be doing Saw 11, and it was set to come out in fall 2024. Well, the film, not long after that, got delayed a whole year and was set to come out in fall 2025. Now, that also did not happen, and will not happen, because there was some disputes going on between the heads of Twisted Pictures, Mark Berg and Warren Cools, and they had brought on Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan, who had wrote Saw 4, 5, 6, and 7. They also did the collector movies as well. They were brought on to do the script for Saw 11. Now, apparently from what they said around January 2024, they didn't hear anything back, and it's kind of been in limbo since. And then it wasn't too long ago where Lionsgate pulled Saw 11 entirely off of their release calendar and then put The Strangers Chapter 2 in its spot. And a lot of us were kind of like, oh no, this is the end for the Saw franchise, that's it, they're putting the nail in the coffin on Saw 11. But then Billy the Puppet went to social media and assured us that he's still employed at Lionsgate. And now today, news broke per Deadline, and Bloody Disgusting is also running this, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, they're all running it, all the major outlets are running the story that Saw has been acquired by Blumhouse, in which case Blumhouse and Lionsgate will share a 50-50 partnership. Lionsgate has 50% of the rights to the Saw franchise, Blumhouse has 50% of the rights to the Saw franchise. Now, what does this mean exactly? It could mean a number of things. Does this mean Saw 11 is back on? Not necessarily. Does it mean that we are definitely going to get a reboot? Also, not necessarily. So let's kind of take a look at where we currently stand. Now, if you guys don't know this or don't remember this, around April 2024, Bloody Disgusting was reporting that Blumhouse and Lionsgate were teaming for a new Blair Witch project as the first film in a multi-picture deal, with Blumhouse reimagining horror classics from the Lionsgate library. And then there was that rumor kind of going around for a while there while all this was going on that either Blumhouse or A24 could get the rights to the Saw franchise, and that was kind of dismissed, and then it kind of just went away. But what's also interesting, that around that same time that they announced that new Blair Witch movie coming from Blumhouse and Lionsgate, Blumhouse also merged with James Wan's company, Atomic Monster. So that then brings up the question, will James Wan return to the Saw franchise in a big way? We don't know. As far as I can tell, at least, James Wan seems to have no personal interest in doing another Saw movie. But never say never. Money talks, people can change their minds, we don't know what's going to happen with this. If I were a betting man, I would say that James Wan would not be coming back to direct a Saw movie, but he'll still get his producer credit as he has for every previous Saw film. But let's just assume that James Wan won't be directing another Saw movie and he'll just get a producer credit, maybe have a hand in a little bit of the story, who knows. So now we have to ask ourselves, where does Saw go from here? Do we get Saw 11? Do we go with a Blumhouse reboot or revival in the same way they kind of did Halloween or The Exorcist? And all of that is very unclear right now. I know now in the hands of Blumhouse, they'll probably want to go and reboot it in some type of way, which I do believe would be a mistake, for at least for this first one. But that is one possibility that we could go. And we've talked about this on the channel before in previous videos, that if another studio did get their hands on Saw, they would probably want to do a reboot and kind of wipe the slate clean, and I think that's still very much a possibility. However, there is a lot of outcry from fans and various members of the creative team of the Saw franchise who still very much want Saw 11 that we were supposed to get. And Lionsgate, who still very much wants to make more Saw movies clearly, and Saw X did so well for them, that I think there is a chance that Saw 11 could be revived. All I know, either way, Lionsgate, Blumhouse, if you're listening, no matter what you do with the Saw franchise going forward, Kevin Greuter has to be involved, preferably as a director. And the James Wan scenario kind of came up in a lot of people's minds because of how closely he works with Jason Blum. But I think a lot of people forget that Jason Blum and Kevin Greuter already have an established working relationship. And for those who may not know or don't really remember, around the time that Saw 3D was being made, Kevin Greuter was going to go over to Blumhouse to make Paranormal Activity 2 for them. Some shit happened behind the scenes of Saw 3D, and Kevin got pulled back over to Lionsgate to do Saw 3D for them. But Kevin still got to work with Blumhouse later when he made his film Jezebel.
I had met Jason Blum very early in the Blumhouse days, and you know, at one point I was attached to Paranormal Activity 2, and then a bunch of shit happened, and but you know, I stayed friends with Jason.
So there is already an established working relationship with them. Kevin Greuther is a fan favorite in the Saw franchise. People love the movie scene. They love Saw 6. They love Saw X. Saw X did very, very well financially, critically. And Kevin has been around since day one, since the very first Saw. He's edited most of the Saw movies. He's directed a couple of them. He's seen every frame of every single Saw movie. He is literally the biggest Saw fan I know. He loves it, and I would really hope that he is still involved, whether we make Saw 11 or we do something else. I would also be okay with a spin-off movie, i.e. something along the lines of something like Spiral. Now, I know a lot of people didn't really like Spiral. I enjoy it for the most part overall, but I think if you go in that same direction where it's in the same timeline, but you're telling new stories and new characters, all the previous movies still happen, there is some really good potential there, and I think Spiral had some really good potential, just not maybe executed the best. And I'm not really a big fan of horror franchises going over to TV shows. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, that's something I'm not a fan of. However, Saw as the horror franchise is probably the best suited for episodic television. But I don't think they're going to do that right off the jump. Maybe later we get a Saw series, you know, who knows. I think they're probably going to want to wait and see how Peacock's Crystal Lake series does first. And again, we kind of already mentioned this earlier in the video, but there is the possibility of a reboot, which I think most Saw fans don't want. But, you know, if they do a reboot, I'll kind of just take what I can get at this point. What I don't want, though, under any circumstances, is for the character of John Kramer to be recast at this point. It's not something like Freddy Krueger where an actor can disappear into the role via makeup or CGI. As far as I'm concerned, Tobin Bell is John Kramer. And if you're not going to use Tobin Bell, who still wants to very much make the next Saw movie, then, you know, do something else. Make a different character Jigsaw. Just don't do a recast of John Kramer. I think a lot of fans will probably check out and probably riot, to be quite honest with you. So don't do that, please. Regardless, the future of the Saw franchise is still very uncertain, but we are taking steps in the right direction. We have a new home. Lionsgate is still involved in this. We have a James Wan connection. We have a Kevin Greuther connection already. What's going to happen? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and find out. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of Saw heading over to Blumhouse. And I know that Blumhouse is a very hit or miss studio. Some of the stuff they make is really good. Some of the stuff they make, not so good. But I do have faith that they will do something cool with the Saw franchise because of Lionsgate 50% involvement. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Like the video, comment down there, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. You guys know the drill. So until next time.
Game over.